Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gulf Coast Grow Show. This is our annual Mother's Day episode. I'm your co-host Zeke Smith. Jason is out this week, and we have a very special guest, Miss Kathy Smith. Happens to be my mom. Welcome, Mom.
Thank you for having me.
Quick shout out again to Jason's mom, Miss Linda. She has been under the weather for a little bit, so I want to give a quick shout out and happy Mother's Day to her. She was our lovely guest last year for our Mother's Day show. So, all right, Mom, so let's get into it. You know, we normally start with a little backstory, how you got to be my mom and grandma, all the kiddos. So we had, I think, Dad on for the Father's Day episode last year as well. But give us a little backstory. Where are you from? How'd you get to be this illustrious woman that you are today? So give me some backstory here.
Well, I was born and raised in a little bitty town called Baymonette, Alabama. Graduated high school there in 1974 from Baldwin County High School. Went to 1 year of college at Faulkner State. Did some administrative classes. And then Zeke's dad said, hey, let's get married. I'm going to go to Houston. So we packed up and a little 67 Mustang and drove to Houston, Texas. So we lived in Pasadena while he worked for Brown & Root over in Baytown.
Okay.
I did not start working the first couple of years we were married, but then I decided, well, I'm going to go back to work. And I actually started with a company called Santin Brothers, and they were export packers.
Okay.
Did a lot of export packing and did a lot of work with the port and getting shipments, to the port on time because the ships leave no matter what.
Right.
And so that started my career. I did that for a few years, and then I went to work for a brokerage company that actually they did all the planning and getting the export packers stuff to the airports and to the ports.
So logistics related industry for sure.
Yes. And then I decided I wanted to start a family, and I became pregnant and had Zeke. And then after he was born, I didn't go back to work for a while. And Then I started, I stayed home until Zeke's sister was born. And after a couple of years, I decided I'd go back to work. And I actually went to work with Brown & Root over at the Exxon plant. Started out in the field, and then I got an opportunity to go into the accounting department, and so that's where I got my start as far as life working in accounting for accounts payable.
This is the Exxon Baytown plant?
Yes,
right. Okay.
Yes. So,
where were you guys living at this point?
we were living over in Baytown.
Okay.
All right. And we had made one move because we had been in the Pasadena area and Baytown area, and then we moved to Escatawba in Mississippi. And so I was a stay-at-home mom then.
Okay. So that's an interesting point that I was going to ask about is, lots of folks may be able to relate to this, being a petrochem construction wife. I remember this as a small kid, obviously. It was positive memories, but a lot of times we had to pack up and go. Sometimes we didn't go with them. Sometimes we did, but got a chance to live kind of all over the place a little bit. How was that? What's your memory and recollection? Did you enjoy that process, or kind of a pain in the butt, or what?
It really wasn't. It wasn't. It was stressful to get ready to move, of course,
Sure.
and to find a place to live. But the actual moving around, it was kind of exciting because I'd lived my whole life in Alabama and never been out of the state of Alabama much.
The other LA, Lower Alabama.
Yeah. And so, it was kind of exciting, kind of an adventure. It got harder as y'all got older because y'all had friends and, y'all became more involved. But when you were younger, it wasn't as bad as, as stressful as it was as y'all got older.
Right. And so did a Mississippi tenure, did an Alabama stint, right?
Yeah.
Dad had a fun time there in Alabama. Then we're back in Texas. We did Friendswood for a while.
Right. Moved to
Right.
Friendswood.
Okay. And did a little California stint.
Well, we came back to, remember, we moved back to Baytown.
Okay.
Lived on Mississippi Street for a while.
Okay.
And that's when I went to work for Brown and Root and with the Exxon plant.
Okay.
So we did that job. And then after that is when we ended up going to California for a little bit for 6 months. So it wasn't bad, when we went to California. Yeah. We had a good time.
Yeah.
And so then we were there for 6 months, and then we came back and moved back in our house. And I'm trying to think, where did Dad go to work then? Oh, I'm not sure. That's okay. I can't remember.
You can't keep up all
of them,
But still with Brown and Root when you came back, right?
Yes.
Okay. So about that time, were you working in California, or did you?
Yes, I did. Okay. I did work for Brown and Root out there too.
You came back. I know how to maybe one or two different roles, but I remember, it's 20, 25 years ago now. Landed a job at Tex-Trude there in Channelview on Sheldon Road.
I did.
How long were you there?
20 years.
20. Okay. And so how'd you start? Give me that story. That's those that don't know, Tex-Trude's right across from the big Lyndale Channelview plant there on Sheldon. So we've seen that plant grow exponentially over the years.
Yeah, right? It's grown. It's huge now.
Right.
Started out in the accounts payable department. Worked about 3 or 4 years. It was in 2001 when I started there. So I worked about probably 4 years, and we had a turnover in personnel. And so I got promoted to accounting manager, where I was over accounts payable, accounts receivable, and payroll. And so I worked most of my career there, 20 years. And, but I had decided that when I got 65, I was going to retire somehow. Wanted to really bad. And by that time, I had 5 grandchildren.
Right.
So I really have always wanted to be able to be a grandma and help out and enjoy their things that they're involved in. So kind of that's what I'm doing now.
How long have you been retired now?
Gosh, 4 years.
Wow. It's going fast.
2021, June of 2021.
Okay, so coming up on 4 years.
4 years.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we talked about being a construction wife and picking up. So how do you like it now? I mean, you've got a son that's in construction, obviously with me, daughter, a nurse. So you got 2 kids that, let's say, mildly successful. We're not in jail. That's a win, I guess, as a mom. Husband's not in jail either. He's making it. So I think, you've made a decent life for yourself there. So transition to grandma time. How you liking it? What's your favorite thing about, mom of adult kids and being grandma, or Meecie as our kids all call her. So what's your favorite part about doing that?
Just watching them grow up and, some of the things they come out with and say and just, spending time with them. And I love going and seeing them compete in sports. And, we have one that's does equestrian riding, one that dances, and then your 3 are all in the sports side of it. And, I love baseball. I love watching your kids play baseball. That's probably one of my favorite sports.
Yeah.
So, being able to go to their games and go to their things that I probably wouldn't be able to do all the time if I was, still working.
Sure.
And then coming up in June, I do an annual Meecie camp where they all 5 come and stay. Now they're old enough because they have to be 3 years old and potty trained.
The trick is, I joke with her because she said potty trained, but it's really they got to wipe their own rear end is what the real rule is. Because potty trained is one thing, but you got to be to go to the camp, you got to be able to wipe your own rear end. So That's the real trick. But anyway, so all 5 are there. Got it. Yep.
So all 5 of them are coming. The 13-year-old granddaughter is kind of starting to age out, but I think we'll get her there 1 more year, and then she's going to probably age out.
Yeah.
But I just want them to grow up and know their cousins and be involved with each other and love each other and, have fun together. And they do, and they get real creative there. They They do a lot of different things, and I try to have, something planned for them every day, because if you don't, tends to be trouble. But
Right.
I usually do have things, planned for them every day.
For sure,
So
yeah. You got T-shirts. They make the hand sign. They make the yard rocks. They all
yes, they paint rocks.
Yeah.
We go swimming and we go somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we even go to Buc-ee's. They love to go to Buc-ee's, and I give them money to spend, and then they earn money while they're there. And on the last day, they get to go. I take them all 5 to Target, which people think I'm crazy, but it was really, really good last year. They had a blast picking out whatever they've earned, because, they really don't understand when you buy them something, oh, that's no cost to me. But when they've earned money and they realize, oh, this is a $15 toy and I only have $10. Well, Meecie, you're going to pitch in? No, this is what you earned. This is what you got to spend. So,
yeah, taking 5 kids from the age of 13 to 4 to Target is probably more dangerous than actual camping.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have a good time, and they talk about their experiences there, because they all want to come, and can we have a movie night? Can we have their biggest? I think their favorite thing is to cook hot dogs out there on the fire, and we have a projector as what you bought us, and we do movies out there outside. So that's one of the things that they enjoy a lot. But I'm very tired by the time they leave on Saturday morning, but they've had a good time, and I have too, and they've got a lot of great memories that they can talk about.
Absolutely. They're looking forward
and
to
I
it.
tell them, as they grow older and getting to college and as adulthood, they have to promise me that they're going to spend 1 weekend a year, all 5 of them together.
Oh, okay.
Married, or,
I didn't know that they did. That's
married. Cool. If they're married and have families, or just at college or whatever, they have to pick a weekend. And probably Mary Catherine will be the organizer, because she's the oldest.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's a good idea. I certainly remember going to your Nana's house for, weeks at a time over the summer with all the cousins and just having a heck of a time. So those are some of my fondest memories. So that's good. All right. So as we hit the home stretch, obviously they're from Alabama. You and Dad kind of picked up on a whim. Hey, it's a heck of a proposal. You want to go to Texas and get married? Let's go. I've heard that famous story. What do you think's kept you here? What do you think's kept you in this region? This, obviously, what we talk about here is all about the business and the petrochem industry and logistics, that you worked in all those industries, right? What do you think has kept you or our family in this area?
I think mostly because the job market is here, and your dad could always have a job, and I always felt like I could always find a job if I needed to go back to work, when I wanted to go back to work.
Right.
It's just the economic growth. I mean, if you want to work, you can come to this Houston area and work and make a very decent living, And in fact, I can say housing markets are good here, and it's a good place to raise children, and it's got a lot of things to offer. And so I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. Just always had an opportunity, right? We had
right.
Great community with obviously the Baytown area, and you guys are up in Dayton now, great community up there. And sister's not too far. She moved out of the area, but not too far away. Obviously.
Right.
I've left and come back more times than I can count.
Well, we have too. I mean, we've left and come back, but I really do believe that you can always find a job here if you want to work, and you can make decent money, and the opportunities here are just so much, great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
I agree. Yeah, we agree. It's kind of the reason for the show.
And I feel like that you and your sister didn't get stuck in a little bitty town with no opportunities. I feel like we were able to give you the opportunities to go to college and to have other interests and reach out and, be able to go to a baseball game and be able to go to different functions. And if we didn't stayed in Alabama, I don't know that y'all would have had that opportunities that y'all have had now.
Sure. I think that's a fair point. I mean, no offense to our.
No, I'm not.
We love Bay Minette, but yeah, that's fair. You're right. It's certainly not the same economic environment as we have here.
And I don't think I would have had the opportunity to work and have a good career as I did.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, this is, like I said, our Mother's Day episode. We try to do one every year if we can. So what was obviously I was there, but just for the audience, what was your Mother's Day weekend like? What'd you get to do? Did you have a good time?
I did.
Party hard? What'd you do?
I did.
Tell us what you did as we wrap up.
Well, on Friday, I drove up to Waco and treated myself to lunch at Magnolia Table. And then I went over to the silos and spent the afternoon. And then I met up with Kara and the family and had dinner with them. Then got up on Saturday morning and went to the horse competition and watched Mary Catherine compete.
She did great.
And she did great. She won. Yeah. She won some ribbons. She won $100. Which,
yeah, look at that.
That was great. And then I jumped in my car and drove like a speed demon to get back to Houston to watch Benny do his playoff game. And I made it to part of the game.
Yeah,
and
you did.
This wonderful man here treated me to a wonderful dinner that night. Yeah, so it was good.
Yeah. Sunday, you and Dad, I know you guys don't like to fight the crowds on Sunday. You and Dad get to just relax on Sunday?
No, we did. Yeah. But we actually went out to the little crawfish place that we like to go to, and it wasn't crowded at all. We had shared 5 pounds of crawfish, so it was great.
There you go. You ate like a queen if nothing else. That's right. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it was a wonderful weekend. Wonderful. Got to see all my kids and my grandkids, so it's great.
There you go. Well, that's an awesome way to wrap up the show. I don't think we can beat that. So happy Mother's Day, Ma. I love you. Thanks for being on the show. And we look forward to having maybe you and Miss Linda next year. We'll do a double dip of Outlaw Moms on here. That'd be a heck of a show. So probably wouldn't get a word in edgewise, but nonetheless, it'll be good. So great show. Thank you for all of our thousands and thousands of listeners and watchers of the show. Thanks for tuning in this week. And please forward this episode to anybody who needs a cheer up, right? Having a tough time. Love having just finished up Mother's Day and having a more lighthearted chat with our moms and tell them I love them and we love them and that they're the reason that we do what we do. And we appreciate them so much. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And you guys have a great week and we'll see you next time. Thanks.